We're Robin and Steve. We've loved it here in Vanua Balavu, but we're off to explore more of the Lau Group. We head out towards the pass, dodging sketchily charted reefs, tacking all the way, in what was supposed to be 15 knots of wind on the beam. Once out of the pass, we could see we were in for a bumpy ride, with some unsteady camera work. Once we'd passed the last reef of Vanua Balavu, the seafloor dropped away to over 1 kilometre deep. It was a fauna-rich voyage with boobies and the biggest pod of dolphins we've ever seen. The conditions weren't great, so you'll have to just take my word for it that there are dolphins all around. Wave after dolphin-filled wave would roll by. This, what we've called the megapod, arrived during my off-watch. Luckily, Steve was kind enough to rouse me from my sleep so that I could appreciate this spectacle, even though the conditions were suboptimal. Yep, it was actually pretty crappy weather for dolphin watching. But the weather was going to get much worse, and for now, we had a megapod of dolphins. And we didn't know that the night ahead would have thunder, lightning, and 35-knot winds. Maybe this booby sensed that it was going to be a rough night ahead. It really wanted to land, but our solar panels are like an ice skating rink on a wobble board. Yep, it was going to be a rough night for this bird, and for us. We later heard that 2 other boats read the forecast as we did. Of course, the worst of it happens at night. I got absolutely drenched by rain and waves as I tacked in the dark to avoid the reefs. By daylight, there were new challenges. Reefs that were much bigger than shown on the chart. Entering a pass in gale force winds is no fun, as it's hard to tell where the reefs are and where the waves are just breaking because it's bad weather. If this had have been the Fulaga Pass, which you'll see later, we simply would have had to stay out at sea. We were so hoping that this anchorage would give us a chance to rest after a bit of a rough night. By now the forecasts were kind of admitting that there had been gale force winds and suggested that the winds would change direction and mellow out. Those last hours of tacking were taxing. Hungry and tired, we just dreamt of pancakes in a calm anchorage. At least the first part of our dream came true. This anchorage was not great for the current wind direction. We couldn't even get ashore. But I did enjoy watching our anchor chain become a water feature of sorts. Had a kind of unrestful rest and then set off for another anchorage on another island. And when we were near Namuka, we saw a lot of birds getting excited over a lot of fish. Our next anchorage was much more sheltered. We were still super tired, but we had to go for a walk to do sevu sevu, to meet the chief on the other side of the island. And we met quite a few crabs along the way. It was an hour walk each way, and it was hot. But after presenting our kava and an anchorage fee, we were welcomed to explore the island. The currents rip between the reefs, making kayaking a little bit daunting.
Unless we go across it and then go around it.
I'll admit it did get a bit hairy, but we made it. And we did some big distances, looking for some nice coral. In all our searching on one bommy, there was some nice coral. Most of the seafloor looked more like this, but let's look at the less than 5% that was beautiful. There were also underwater lawns of algae with their own residents. And on the way back we checked that the anchor chain was nicely dug into sand. This looks like I'm balancing on the kayak, but there was actually some nice flat rock, and that's what I'm on. It all looks picture perfect, but let's keep it real. Every beach has plastic. I wonder what the marketing people would think of their logos now. Someone felt like a star before they tossed this, and someone felt like a superhero when they chucked this one. Anyway, back at the boat we had some squid neighbours. Bit blurry, but it's there. It was time to exit another reef pass. Dolphins! Sure, it wasn't the megapod we saw last time, but much better conditions for watching dolphins. The reef looked very impressive from the outside, and we kept it at a sensible distance. We're sailing to Fulaga. Our friends have raved about this place, so we're very excited and also very nervous. The pass is notoriously treacherous. Let's jump ahead in time so you know that we did make it. That dark blue strip of water is deep enough for our size boat to get through if you choose the right weather and tide. We like a little current against us, just to help with the steering. And we arrived just after slack high tide. The current was already ripping against us though. The engine was working quite hard, and at one stage we could only go 2 knots. Steve was pointing out where the bommies were so that I could battle with the helm to keep us off the reefs while fighting some swirling currents. There were some seriously confused seas. And then, calm, but still with thick currents and the odd bommy to keep us on our toes. While we focused on what we had to do, an alarm went off. It was just to let us know that we'd completed our route, but I couldn't leave the helm to turn it off. Not relaxing. But soon enough we were through and we could relax and enjoy the amazing view, while keeping an eye on the depth and on the reefs. Once boaters do sevu sevu here, they get welcomed in to a local family. Next time we feast, go crabbing, see caves, meet the local cricket team. I can't fit it all in. Our host family are legends. We did so much, and I'll try and cram it in the next episode. here at Fulaga.